Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Shubham and you're watching Sketch Guru. So today we are going to see how to draw nodes. So without wasting time, let's start. Hey guys, welcome back. So if you haven't watched my previous tutorials, I request you please do watch them. You will learn many different things in them. I have told my personal secrets and my personal tips and tricks in them. So click on the I button above and let's start the video. So first I'm using a HB pencil to shade some basic outline using the HB pencil. Okay, let me open my reference image in my mobile. Yeah, okay, let's start it. So I'm just recreating the outline which was not very visible to me. Okay, it's done. I'm just drawing a bunch of tightly woven circles here. Shading around the edges of the noses as well. Don't rush, just make it very slow. By using this technique, it gives you a very smooth texture. This circular technique is mostly used for making a texture very smooth. If you blend too much, then it will get very smooth. If you're not blending it very much, then it will exaggerate the textures. So now it's time for blending. So from blending, I'm using a makeup brush. Don't apply too much pressure on the brushes, just a light pressure will do your work. If you see it's not blending nicely, then you can apply the more pressure for it. But mostly 2B pencil blends very nicely as compared to F grade or H grade pencils. So now it's time to create the nostrils. Create the nostril before you blend everything, or else the outline will fade away and you will not get perfect accurate nostrils. At some places where you can't use a brush, I'm using a paper stumps. The paper stumps are very nice if you want to make a edge very smooth, and it should be smooth always when you are sketching. This gives it a realistic look. If the edge is not smooth, it will look very harsh, and that will take out the realism from the sketches. So now I'm just going to shade the inner area and some outer area too, just to make the base layer. As you see, the middle area is very white. I'm just going to give a very smooth light base layer so that the area will be somewhat grayish. Let me give you one small tip: never keep your white page visible while you're sketching. Means don't have to make the area of a page or your drawing sheet visible. You should always shade. Even a light shade will do the work. You just have to keep this in mind. I see many of the people are not shading the skin part and you're just leaving it white, but that will not give the realistic look unless you are using a light amount of background layer. Any layer will do, HB or 2B. So I'm using here a cross hatching technique which will very useful. I'm going to blend it with some tissue paper. Just remember, tissue paper will take out some amount of graphite also from your drawing, so your drawing will always get lighter than it was before, but it will give a smooth texture. So again, after applying the tissue, you have to recreate that darkness shade by using the same pencil, or you can use a 2B pencil for that. So I'm using a 2B pencil here. Actually, I forgot to tell you. As you see in the reference image, the area which is away from light will always be darker as compared to the area which is in light. So you just have to keep this in mind. Apply some more pressure to the area which is very darker as compared to area which is not. So I'm just using this technique of layering. I'm just making the area darker. First we have used HB pencil, right? So now I'm using a 2B pencil to give the another shade of layer. Always blend your work after applying the one layer. This will help you to get a smooth texture and smooth finishing. If you notice, my layers were losing their darkness, so I'm recreating them using a 4B pencil again. This happens due to blending. While blending with the tissue or paper stumps, it also takes your graphite or the darkness. So now I'm using a 4B pencil again to create some darker shades. As you know, the area to the left is somewhat very darker as compared to area to the right. Okay, now I'm blending using a paper stumps. You can also use a brush. Brush will give you a smooth texture as compared to paper stumps. If you have noticed, I'm just creating a very smooth outline, so this will give a realistic look. keep blending unless you are satisfied. So now I'm just going to use a soft tissue paper, or you can use any tissue paper, but I prefer you using a soft tissue to blend some graphite over it and gives you a smooth texture. If you have noticed, I'm wrapping the tissue paper to my finger. You should do that. I'm just creating some base layer around the nose so that it will look some good. In some cases, if the makeup brush don't blend very well, you can always use a tissue paper, or just use a cotton bud for this. It will also help do your work. Sketching is all about the layering. If you layer very nicely, it will give you a very good result. Just remember one thing, you don't have to use directly a darker shades, because if you make a mistake in the future, it will not be able to erase. You will not be able to erase it. So I prefer you using a layering technique. It is a very good technique. It's time consuming, but it gives you a result very realistic. So it's time for highlights. For highlights, I'm using a kneaded eraser. This eraser is very good. You can just reform it into any shape or size. So I'm using a pencil eraser to create some light highlights and skin shades, so it will give a skin texture smooth and nice. You can get this pencil on Amazon around 350 rupees. I prefer you to buying it. So I'm just creating a small dots around the nose. If I look into the reference image, I can see it. If you want to make a small dark shades without using a pencil, you can always use a paper stumps. Just do one thing, dip the paper stump into a charcoal, or you can use a graphite powder also. The graphite powder you can take it by rubbing it on sandpaper. Just do one thing, take a 100 grit sandpaper, rub a 4B pencil or 6B pencil on it, and you will get that graphite powder. Just dip this paper stump in it and apply it on the area you want to create some very small darker shades, or you have to create some darker spots on the skin. This is very helpful for that. So now I'm just sharing below the highlights which I have just created using an eraser pencil. This will give a skin texture look, and it will look very nice after making it. So I will just advise you one thing, just work slowly, don't rush. First of all, don't rush. If you notice, I'm in the 3 days and I have just created these 3 things: eyes, eyebrows and nose. So I'm not rushing too much to get the output. So just spend your time slowly, don't rush. So guys, that's all for today. If you want to make it more darker, you can always use 6B pencil and get higher shades, darker shades. So I'm just signing off for today. Please do watch my other videos, subscribe my channel, like, share, and please do comment what are your thoughts. If you have any doubts, please DM me on Instagram. I'm more active there on Instagram. I will explain you all. So take care, bye bye, stay safe.